Have you been told you need to stop doing what you love, whether it's exercise, running, or a sport? Well, here at Dynamic, we don't like that answer. In this podcast, we'll talk to leaders in the health and wellness space from Southwest Florida to get the solutions you need to get you back to doing what you love. Welcome to the Dynamic Naples Podcast. What's going on, Naples? I hope everybody had a good holiday and New Year's. Welcome to Season 2 of the Dynamic Naples Podcast. I've totally decided to switch it up the season. I probably, towards the end of the year, will be interviewing people again and doing some topic-based podcasting, but I really wanted to dive deeply into nutrition this season. So for this first episode, I kind of want to give you the why behind that. So I started my company a few years ago, and entrepreneurship is kind of an interesting adventure. You basically are always trying to improve yourself. And through that, I started blogging a lot. And then, everything that I basically talk about, I typically have blogged about. It's usually things that I'm not so sure about. I research it, then I write the blog, then I podcast about. That's usually basically my whole cycle. And then during the pandemic and the lockdown, I decided to get certified in nutrition. So I did that. Took a few weeks, got certified through ISSA, and it's very traditional nutrition-based approach. So a lot of the sort of mainstream narrative about, have a diet mostly carbs, some fats, some proteins, yada yada, the whole food pyramid thing. So I learned a lot about macros and micros. But then I started blogging about stuff I wasn't sure about. And in that process, I just started uncovering one thing after another. And what I came to realize is basically all the nutritional advice we're given is completely upside down and backwards. And, started maybe, I'll go through some of the details and the dates, but it started maybe 20, 30, 40 years ago. We got this advice to eat a certain way. And fast forward 30 plus years later, and we're all sick, diabetic, obese, incidence of stroke, heart attack, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, all this stuff is way up. So it doesn't make sense right there. So what I hope to do is it's going to probably be like 20 or 30 episodes of all topics on nutrition. And I'm really going to get down to why the way we're told to eat is probably a broken system, and if you do the opposite, you're going to thrive. And so this episode, I really want to go into my own personal story. So I have a 3.5-year-old daughter, and right when we had her, I started putting on some weight. Sympathy pregnancy, maybe, I don't know. But I started putting on weight, started feeling kind of lousy. I was kind of attributing it to lack of sleep, which leads to lack of exercise. But I think something else was going on. I started to develop a wheeze and a cough. Like if I laid down on my side at night, I'd wheeze. I'd have to lay on my back. And I was just getting worse and worse. And then through all my blogging and studies, I switched up my diet completely and radically changed my life. I dropped like 20 pounds. My wheeze and cough went away. I still cough a little bit, but it's very rare that I cough now. It was to the point where, I play hockey. I'd be on the ice coughing like constantly. That is completely gone now. And so what I did was change to a basically low-carb, high-fat diet and completely changed my life. In fact, I went into the carnivore diet, which, had you asked me a couple years ago about that diet, I would have thought was crazy. But all the research I've done has really led me to believe that this is the right diet for majority of people. Maybe not carnivore, but an animal-based diet. So hopefully that doesn't trigger too many people. I think you can completely thrive on a vegetarian or vegan or plant-based diet. I just think that you have to know what you're doing, and it can be a little trickier. And I do think that everyone's a little bit different, and what diet works for me might not work for you. But I think the majority of humans, we did evolve eating mostly animals and some plants and fruits. And I think that the majority of people will tend to do better on a diet like that. That's just how we evolved. So that's the beginning of Season 2. I'm going to dive deep. Probably start off with, I think I'm going to break this into 3 sections. Probably the first series will be on the story of how we got here. How did we get this recommendation to eat a diet high in carbs and where it's led us to? And then I'll get into some of the problems it created. And then in the third part, I'll probably get into some of the solutions and tips for thriving. So that's season 2, episode 1. Look forward to a bunch more of these. I'm going to probably record a bunch and just pump them all out. I tend to be impatient and just want to get all the information out there as fast as possible. All right, that's it for now, Naples. I'll talk to you soon. Do you have unexplained pain, or do you wonder just how healthy you are? When was the last time you had your blood tested? Blood chemistry analysis is a great way to stay ahead of any health conditions, and now you can have control of your health with Let's Get Checked. Let's Get Checked is an incredible company that sends blood tests to your home. You can choose from over 30 different tests, whether that's liver function, testosterone, micronutrient, cholesterol, or C-reactive protein, which is a marker for inflammation. It's sent to you with free shipping, and you get your results in 2 to 5 days, no physician referral needed. Use the code DPT30 for 30% off. Go to letsgetchecked.com and use the code DPT30. Did you know that you can get started with physical therapy without a physician's referral? Physical therapists don't just solve pain, we get down to the root cause and keep it from coming back. We also discuss all things health, such as nutrition and lifestyle changes. If you feel that you could use some help, let's get on a free consult call. Go to www.dynamicnaples.com and sign up for a free call. Also, if you like this podcast, please give us a rating wherever you listen to podcasts. It helps us spread the message. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next week.